In a bombshell announcement, Tyler Reddick is headed to 2311 in 2024. Let's talk about it. Coming up next. What is going on, everybody? All right, bombshell announcement today. Absolute silly season atom bomb. I mean, my goodness. Tyler Reddick. We knew he was going to be a highly sought after free agent, but RCR just picked up his contract extension for 2023. But just a few weeks later, he announces in 2024 he is going to 2311. Before we get into all that, let's talk about sort of the business etiquette of this move. As you can see from this tweet here, RCR was clearly not expecting this. And what I mean by business etiquette is, yes, this is Tyler Reddick's life. He can do what he wants to do. Yes, this is 2311's business move. It's not their problem what happens with RCR. But business etiquette is you would basically, because this feels like either RCR didn't know this announcement was coming or RCR had no idea about it. Business etiquette would dictate that you go tell RCR, hey, I've signed with 2311. This would give RCR a chance to work behind the scenes to sort of get something structured and in place before an announcement was made so that you could sort of have a co-announcement that, hey, Tyler Reddick's going here in 2024 and we're replacing him with this guy. It gives you a chance to line up your sponsors and things like that. And I don't know if Tyler Reddick necessarily meant to do this on purpose, but this really, really sticks it to RCR. I mean, it takes them from being in a position of power where they could sort of replace Tyler Reddick with who they want to and sort of get some sponsors lined up. That gives them a power position to a position of weakness. Now they have to scramble. They have to find a driver to replace Tyler Reddick. They have to find sponsors for that driver. So it sort of puts them in scramble mode. Now, I don't think necessarily Tyler Reddick thought about this, but 2311 definitely should have thought about it, because going forward in the future, anyway, you would imagine that RCR, Richard Childress, could stick it to 2311. They're going to stick it to 2311 because this is, just to be totally honest with you, this is bad business. This is poaching in a way. So it is what it is. It's Tyler Reddick's life. He can do what he wants to, but definitely from the RCR perspective, and obviously I'm an RCR guy, so there's possibly some bias in what I'm saying here, but it is, in my opinion, bad business. So we have to figure out where Tyler Reddick is going to fit in over at 2311. Will they expand? Is Kurt Busch retiring? Is Bubba Wallace getting moved out? But before we look at that, let's see what Denny Hamlin had to say about why he got Tyler Reddick. I watched him. I raced against him. I wanted him. I got him. That sounds like something straight out of a NASCAR romance novel. Strong quote from Denny Hamlin there. But anyway, let's take a look at what 2311 is going to do. They have said in the past that they're not going to expand, right? So if you take them at their word that they're not going to expand, this means either Bubba Wallace or Kurt Busch is leaving. So let's look at that. Is Bubba Wallace going to leave? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to push Bubba Wallace out because he's still got so much sponsor money coming in. He just won a race last year. This year hasn't gone his way. Obviously, he's not been a fan of the pit crew and things like that. So I don't really see Bubba Wallace going anywhere just because he's bringing in so much money to the organization. So that leads me to Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch could possibly be retiring. This could basically be the sign that Kurt Busch is retiring at the end of 2023, and Tyler Reddick is going to be his replacement, because 2311 has said they have no future plans to expand. So if they're not expanding, this is obviously, not only did this shock the world with basically RCR not knowing about it, but it's also probably shocking the world by basically saying, hey, Kurt Busch is retiring, or at least leaving 2311 in 2024. So I think a lot of news can be basically extrapolated from this. That is, if you believe 2311 is not expanding. Of course, if you think 2311 is blowing smoke, it is quite possible that they will have a 3-car team in 2024, not next season, in 2024. So there you go. You could have Kurt Busch, Tyler Reddick, and Bubba Wallace. So that would be a 3-car team, and that would just expand the field. And that begs the question, where is that charter going to come from? Now 2311 is in the running for a charter too. So now if they're expanding, that means Junior Motorsports and 2311 are in the hunt for a charter. So that is going to drive the price of charters up once again. But on the flip side of it, you have to go look at RCR. Who are they going to replace Tyler Reddick with? First off, you've got a lame duck driver for a full year. 2023 is going to be a lame duck year. This is going to be very similar to the Casey Kane, Rick Hendrick situation where he drove that number 4 Red Bull car for 1 year just all by himself. So what does RCR do? RCR has several options they could look at. The first is, do you even run Tyler Reddick next year? There is the possibility they could just cut the option, just release him from his contract and let him go and let him do his own thing for 1 season. Several reasons you would do this. You don't want him getting any more of your technology and taking it over there, any more of how you do things and take it over there to 2311. That's one reason you could do that. The other reason you could do it is just pure spite. Like, hey, buddy, you messed us up here, so we're going to mess you up back as much as we can. You could definitely see that happening. I don't think that'll happen. I feel like everybody at RCR pretty much gets along. I think this bombshell could possibly change a few things with that, though. But let's look at who will replace him whenever they do replace him. And first on the list has to be the 2 Xfinity Series drivers of Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed. Either one of those guys could move up if they find the proper funding for them. But if they don't, and if you want to go even younger, see, like if they run Tyler Reddick next year and give him the last full season, sort of like they did with Kevin Harvick, you could definitely see a situation where they bring in somebody like Rajah Caruth and put him in Xfinity, give him a one full year in Xfinity, and then move Rajah Caruth up. Rajah Caruth, of course, one of the biggest names in the Chevrolet development line right now. So he could definitely be a guy you see move up, and I'm real big on him. I think he's going to do a lot of good things. He's a really good prospect, and I'd rather see him moved up sooner rather than later. And I think that would be a good fit for RCR because they have time to build him up and give him the equipment he needs. But you would have to see him at least 1 full season in Xfinity to see if he's ready for it yet. But there are other options out there. And let's start with the guy driving the number 7 car at Spire Motorsports, Corey LaJoie. Corey LaJoie would be a great fit over here. He already has some sponsors, so they wouldn't have to find but so many to get him over here at RCR. I think he would be a great fit for it. Another guy you got to throw out there just because he's the other grandson. Would Ty Dillon finally accept a ride at RCR? I know he's turned him down in the past because he wants to do it on his own. But would he come over from the 42 and move him into basically the 8 or whatever number car that is going to be going forward? Just a lot of that would be probably another easy move right there, and then you would have to put somebody in the 42, so the same conversation would be had as to who you put in the 42. But there's also other guys. Kaz Grala has worked with RCR and Colleague Racing in the past. Kaz Grala, I think, would be a good fit there if you could find him sponsorship. I think he's a great driver. Parker Kligerman just won the truck race with a small Henderson team. He would be another good fit there. So there is any number of drivers you could fit in there if you could find sponsorship. But definitely a big chip just dropped in silly season. Basically, any of these drivers, Michael McDowell would be another sneaky one you could get in there if you could lure him away from front row. But any of these drivers would be a good fit. But if you take one of these drivers from the Cup Series, it still leaves an open seat. So silly season is in full swing. That's all I got. There's so much speculation that can be done here. That's all I got for you. This news was crazy. If you made it this far, please feel free to subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I really appreciate it. And if you got a comment or question, leave it down in the comment section. I try to get to as many as I can. It's been crazy recently. I haven't been able to get to all of them, which is a new here. But I do usually try to get to all of them, and I'll get to all of them if I can. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.